Tracy here with Art Resurrected, and today I have a beautiful kit by TierraCast, created by Tracy Proctor, that I won by attending and watching the Great Bead Extravaganza. Now, what is the Great Bead Extravaganza? Born from the inability to do in-person shows this past year, the Great Bead Extravaganza was created as a series of virtual events, provided a dedicated space where jewelry making suppliers and educators could do video tutorials, giveaways, kits, and sales, allowing all levels of bead and jewelry enthusiasts a chance to learn, see new products, and get inspiration. If you're interested more in attending the next Great Bead Extravaganza, link is below in the description. Now, TierraCast was one of the many jewelry making suppliers who did a series of tutorials and giveaways at the Great Bead Extravaganza. And they have been creating fine quality jewelry components since the 1980s. They're personally one of my favorites to buy for higher end quality jewelry and home decor designs. So winning this has got me really excited. So I can't wait to open this up. Let's get to it.
Now here is the kit. The skill set says not too hard, so I think I will be doing okay. Okay. Supplies required, or supplies and required tools. Scissors, hammer, bench block, other hanging surface, chain or flat nose pliers. Super new glue or similar glue designed to use with leather. And let's see, make sure I got everything. I've got the leather, the Heshi gemstone beads, it looks like aventurine, the rondelles, those are tiger's eye, and then all the little supplies here from TierraCast. Looks like, oop, missed a couple pieces, don't want to do that. So, okay, we've got the barrel beads, the nugget spacers, which come in 5mm and 7mm. 7mm are the golds, and the 5mm are the silver, or sort of like an antique, pewter, whatever. Silver tone, that's good enough. Oval jump rings, and 2 round jump rings, and my earring wires. There we go. So we're good to go. Now, when I've seen Tracy from TierraCast create this on a video, she didn't have to use the hammer and bench block, but that's totally up to you. I know that myself, I'm going to probably be using nylon jaw pliers for the crimping elements. And keeping cuts as straight as possible. Cut 2 5-inch pieces and 2 3 3/4. So, I think what I'm going to do, because Tracy from TierraCast has done this numerous times, and has shown it with these beads. I like aventurine, don't get me wrong, I love aventurine and I love tiger's eye. But what I think I'm going to do is, I've got a lot of big hole beads. I, in fact, was working on some leather projects, and I like working with lapis. And in particular, I love mixed metals with lapis. You don't say. So I think I'm going to switch out the aventurine and use lapis instead. But I'm still going to use all the other supplies, and I still like tiger's eye because I actually think tiger's eye browns and the lapis go actually pretty nice together. So let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and cut my 2 5-inch pieces. Make sure that's really close. And I've got a nice pair of titanium craft scissors that I use to cut my leather with, so it's like, it just cuts through leather and cord like butter. That's like one of my go-to ones. Okay. If you hear any noise in the background, it's my numerous animals running around the house having fun playing, so don't mind that. I think everyone's used to having some little pitter patter of wee ones roaming around, whatever they may be. I'm actually wondering. Yeah, there's just like, there might be a little bit of excess, but like the most tiniest amount. So, okay, so 3/4. Put it right there. And pretty sure this piece, oh wow, that is like spot on. That's great. Okay, yay. Okay, so these actually, and one of the things to keep in mind with leathers, and even certain types of cord, even hemp cord and the waxed linen, will have a tendency to kind of curve a bit onto itself, so you want to work with the curve. You hold them next to each other with the shorter cord on the inside thread up through the barrel. So there we go. Grab one barrel, put the other barrel right there. And you make sure, oops, gotta make sure the smaller one is on the inside. And just go on through. Just tuck that in. It should be pretty good. Okay, so you string one 5mm, one 7mm, the inside cord. So that should work unless, let's see, how many beads do I want to have on here? Probably want to put the heavier beads on the outer cord. So this is already set up for just a few beads on the inner cord. And then apply glue very lightly to the cord, wipe off any excess. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to, I just lost all my beads. See, you gotta watch that. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be gluing the leather to itself on the smaller cord here. You're going to do that with super glue. And what you're doing is once you've glued these two pieces together, you let it set. And when you've got both the shorter cord and the longer cord glued to themselves, you'll be crimping both connected pieces inside there. So all the gluing, everything will not be seen later. Now, when you're using a super glue, make sure it's a super glue that is actually rated for use with leather. Of course, that's if I can get some super glue out of there. Sometimes it just doesn't want to work with you. Or maybe it's just me. Maybe the craft goblins have just said, not today, Tracy. So we just want to hold it together long enough. Oh, and of course I've glued my finger to my bead. Oh, there we go. Great tutorial. Gluing myself to myself and to the beads, but the leather isn't gluing to itself. So no, now it is. Sometimes you just have to sit there and hold it a little bit, and you'll be good. You just let that sit. And what I'm going to do before I even start working on the outer cord, I'm just going to go ahead and work on this one so that that glue can set up really nice. So once again, we're threading it through the barrel and back down. Oh, sometimes it's a little fickle. You just gotta have to wiggle it in. But eventually they'll get in there. And if I remember correctly, this barrel will handle the round leather cord that's been cut and included in this kit. It's specifically sized for it. And you can also, what's nice about these different types of crimp beads, you can put I've used sari silk in there. You can use any of the hemp cords, the wax linen cords. I mean, really, the sky's the limit when it comes to whatever. As long as it'll fit in there, and as long as you crimp it with whatever tool you're using. Like I said, definitely want to use your nylon jaw pliers. I don't like using my chinos directly on it, only because I don't want to mar the surface. So once again, we're repeating the one little, that sort of antique silver spacer, the 5mm, and then the 7mm. Oh, you gotta just wiggle it in. And there we go. So once again, we're making sure we're grabbing it and gluing it to the inner cord itself. So you're gluing it back to itself. Oops, there's a little bit of super glue, just a little excess, but that's fine. It's one of those things with super glue. There's always going to be a little bit more than you need, but you can always take it off later. Once again, make sure that you've got the leather touching itself and you just hold it in place for a little bit. You could crimp it if you want to, like temporarily, but I don't find it necessary. You just have to let it sit there and, oh, glue to itself. There we go. And I'm going to push that down and let it sit there. So now that the first one is dried, and yeah, it's set. So this is where I'm going to alter a little bit of the design. So we're looking at the original design. Original design would have the two tiger's eye right there, and then the adventuring on the side. So while I love adventuring, that's going to go for another project. So we're going to put them to the side, but since they're wonderful big hole beads, these will be great for other leather projects or heavy duty wax linen cord. So I'm going to try a new pattern, picking up, let's see, well, we're going to need at least 2 lapis. Oh, they're going to go rolling. That's fine. Yeah, so I think 1 on each side would work, but I think I want to be a little extra. Yeah. So, still using the instructions as my base point because those are still very useful. Go ahead, move that one down to the side because we're still waiting for that to dry. We're going to put on one of the 5mm spacer right there. We're going to put a turquoise, or not turquoise, lapis. Maybe I got turquoise on the brain. Maybe next time I should be working with turquoise. It's one of those things that sometimes your brain's telling you, hey, I want to work with something else. I'm going to temporarily just go ahead and try what it's like with the two. Now I might find out it's a little heavy. I don't know. Have not done this pattern before. I'm picking up the 7mm right here. And we can put the little tiger's eye piece in the middle. Other 7mm. The other piece of lapis. The little 5mm that my fingers just don't want to work with today. And another one. So, how does that look? Oh, that is too many for the leather. So that answers that. those beads. Don't want to lose, oh, we were beads. So there we go. That's one of those things when it comes to working with a pattern. And if you want to alter a kit, there's nothing wrong with that. But it's one of those things that you've got to decide, does it work out? Is it possible with the kit you have? And so in this case, no. But I do love the look of Tiger's Eye with lapis. I don't know, there's something about it that's very warm, it's very inviting, and I just generally like how it looks. Okay, so we've got our new pattern, and that is going to look very nice. And we're just going to have to wiggle everything around later on. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do is go ahead and glue it. And this is one of the things I enjoy with the kits. It's always fun to do what the original kit had in mind, but I also do like altering it a bit, sometimes changing up, or maybe there's a different stone that you prefer, or sometimes I've even picked up a kit where I loved it. But I opened it up, the stones were so gorgeous, or the findings were just so stunning, I ended up using them with another project. And then I swapped something out with my collection. Now, getting big hole beads can be at times a bit difficult. So that's where, when I got these in the kit, I'm super excited because they're beautiful. They're faceted, wonderful color, and I can definitely use them with other things. Now, these I picked up in Tucson last time I was there. So it's one of those things I'm trying to bring back with me a little bit of thinking about Tucson. Okay, so another 5mm while we're waiting for that one to dry. So we got our 5mm on there. Pick up a lapis bead and string that through. Put our another little 5mm on there. Put our 7mm. I really do love the antique gold nugget TierraCast beads. These spacer beads, I have used them in other projects. I just love that ancient look, that feel to it, that it's just like it's something from ancient civilization. Of course, it also can have a modern primitive look depending on how you choose to mix it with other stones and findings. I've seen it put together with lampwork beads and it looked just stunning. So it's just a matter of preference, general taste. Okay, so I'm getting my glue back. Oh, it's getting kind of messy. I have to go back and clean up my glue tip nozzle here. It's one of those things that whenever you're done with a project, make sure you go back and clean up your glue. That is very, very important. You don't want to have nozzles clogged or anything like that. And again, like I said, make sure you're using a super glue that you know works with leather, because there's different types of super glues on the market. There's so many brands. There's really, really there's just so many brands. So just make sure, you can always check. A lot of websites for the glues that are out there will tell you ahead of time if their product does or does not work with something. So we'll put our beads to the side. And let's see. They have to be slowly pushed up there. I'm going to be rotating these little loops. Just kind of carefully push them up. Oh, that one does not want to go. I'm going to kind of nudge it along with a pair. 'Of 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 pair. ' See if nudging the other one along with it will help. I swear there's sometimes where you're working on a project and you're just so concentrated, so focused, and everything goes dead silent. You're like, oh no, what's happening? It's like the silence is going to help, but okay, it decided to wiggle in. There we go. And we just carefully nudge the other side in. It's kind of like mucking around with shoelaces, just trying to adjust it until you got it in just so. And I think that's a little bit too much leather on the top there. There we go. And we got to do the same with this one, where we just nudge all the little pieces up in there and wiggle the other side down. Oh, there we go. Just want to make sure that I've got this leather piece there. Are the hoops about the same? Yes, they are. Now, did I? Yep. Nope. There we go. So now we got to crimp these guys. Just kind of push that in just a little bit more. So we're bringing in my nylon job pliers, and we want to make sure everything is in the right place, because once you crimp it, you're crimping for good. There's no uncrimping these barrel beads, and that's the case with any crimp, and especially since you've got leather in here, you want to make sure you've got everything ready. Okay, I can see where part of the little glue element, it's right there. So that's perfect. We're gonna wiggle that portion down again, just a touch. Ah, there we go. And so, since we want pretty equal pressure, and sometimes, yep, that's gonna move. Now their pieces are pewter. The pewter will move, so you just hold it in place and it'll crimp. Yeah, you can see it now. It's actually crimped down pretty good. You just crimp it a little bit more. Make sure you're happy with the general placement. There. Yeah, it's squished in pretty good. Give it a little tug. Yeah. Oh, that side needs just a little more. There we go. You can see how it dangles. Has a nice flow to it. I really, really like that. That is a great design. And I love these pieces. I mean, it's really easy to do. Oh, do I have my loop the same? Nope, I might need just a touch more loop. So, again, just sort of wiggle it a little. It'll be good. Yep. Sometimes if you need to, if there's a small space and you can't even get a plier in there, just get a head pin and just kind of wiggle it in. So there you go. Once again, hold it in place, crimp it down good, flip it, and oh yeah, that one came down really nice. love those metal beads. Those really, really work. And so, if I remember correctly, yep, you can do the 2 ovals, or you can do the earring wire, because like there's a lot of times you can just put the earring wire directly on the leather, and I've seen Tracy from TierraCast do that. But I think I'm going to go ahead and actually use the little oval pieces, because I don't know, I think it looks nice. It adds a nice bit of metal contrast, because you've got a lot of silver and gold tones in this piece, and I just love that. So, well, as you can see here, and I was taking my time, I can do it a lot faster if I wanted to, but taking my time doing this project, it was quick, it was easy, and I now have my first earring already done, and now I'm going to have my second one. And this is also changing from the pattern that was there already, because if I had just left the venturing in there, I probably would have done sooner. But I was sitting there kind of messing around, trying to see if I could add more lapis. You know, it's me and trying to add too much lapis. You got to watch me with that. Always trying to add more beads. More the merrier. There you go. Super simple, gorgeous. I love this antiqued, old world kind of feel to it. Something that you might find in an archaeology dig or left in some treasure chest somewhere. Beautiful. And don't forget, you can use the actual adventuring pieces that come with it, or go through your stash and see what big old beads you have. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll be seeing you next time.